We're back with the scarf. United have just won the treble. We've gone and won the Make-Believe Cup in Hong Kong. We've gone and won the Premier League Summer Series trophy in the US. And we've now won the Snapdragon Cup at Old Trafford. So what we've done is we've gone to 3 continents and we are international champions. We're treble winners in 3 different nations. How many of you can say you won the Snapdragon Cup? But anyway, all banter aside, United won, Fiorentina won. We've just won on penalties. Before we start anything, let's just say we're not ready for the season. Now, we might have all the hype coming up, and I'm going to explain this game, all the attacking plays, all the midfield plays, defensive plays, Ruben Amorim, etc. But all I can say is, as we are today, in this very moment, not next week, but this week, we're just about not ready yet. So Arsenal could be a very tricky game after everything we've said. If we don't get certain players, which I'll come to, we might be in big trouble against Arsenal. Because one thing we do know with Arsenal is they are intensely high pressing, just like what we're trying to do. But they have players who can deliver when it comes to cutting edge. Do we have players who can deliver with cutting edge? Cunha and Mbeumo? Yes, we do. But the main problem is that they are not up to match fitness. Because Mbeumo, this is just a second game. Cunha is still struggling and he's settling in. He's doing well, but he's still settling into the team. He needs to get the team dynamic. He needs to see how he works with other players. And it's going to take some time. But the main problem, I'm pretty sure you saw it. I saw it. We saw intricate plays. We saw quick transition plays from the defense all the way through midfield into attack. But the midfield, that's where the problem was, no? Because the biggest problem I saw in this game was that the midfield looked like a bagel, looked like a donut. And this donut-shaped hole in the midfield is going to kill us when it comes into games like Arsenal, where they're going to be intensely packed in the midfield, where they're going to press us intensely. And the turnover might be very, very deadly. We saw this against Everton, despite amazing attacking play. We saw this against Everton. We saw this against Bournemouth. On the transition, we look empty. And it was the same thing again today. Fiorentina, who do play in the Serie A, and they played actually relatively slower than Everton and Bournemouth do. But still, they were able to bypass and transition through the wing backs, through the right-hand side into our left flank. Now, the main problem, like I pointed out, is our midfielder. We are screaming out for Baliba. Because I watched a compilation of Baliba again. The 15-minute Brighton compilation that they put out for Baliba for this season, for 24-25. You watch that, you will understand exactly why Baliba is worth every penny. If we think 80-90 million is a lot, I would go up to 125. I would go up to 130 million. Because if we miss out on Baliba now, it's not just the fact that we're missing out on a player who I think could be on levels of Yaya Toure and Paul Pogba one day. If coached right, he is that good that he could surpass Caicedo. He could be on par with Yaya Toure because he is that profile, by the way. Pogba, Yaya Toure, a midfield demon who can attack, who can defend like a centre back, like your Yap Stam, like your Van Dijk, who can intercept and get the ball back like Kante, who can pass through the line like Scholes, and who can drive with the ball like Yaya Toure. Essentially what we're getting, if we get Baliba that is a Yaya Toure. And isn't that what we're screaming out for in this midfield? Because sure, Bruno might try this and that, good on the half turn, but after that, what do? He looks a little lost. Either he pushes through a long ball for no reason, or he just looks lost. Which is why if we give him a partner, and as much as I love Casemiro, I think he has to be, the maximum he can do is be rotated this season. Because from what I saw in this game, he looks a little bit out of his depth. And it's not because of his mental or his brain capacity. It's rather what he can do physically. He just cannot do it anymore in the Premier League. He's a technically good footballer, and that doesn't change. But in the Premier League, where it's all about intensity, Casemiro lacks that intensity. And so, we need Baliba. We're screaming out for Baliba. It doesn't matter at this point how much we pay. just get Baliba. I'm pretty sure you guys agree as well because Baliba wants to join us. We want Baliba. The only sticky point is Brighton. And even with Brighton, even though they say he's not for sale, they have not overtly said no, 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 because they're still entertaining an offer. The general consensus is that Brighton are willing to negotiate as long as we give them a decent offer that they can ponder over. So all I'm saying is, if they ask for 105, return 90, 95, 105 if they really want to. At any cost, get this player is all I'm saying. And once we fill in that midfield shaped hole, we will see this team transform, guys. You know how we thought we need attackers very badly, and today's game showed that as well. We needed attackers. When you get Cunha and Mbeumo, when they are very much firing, we're going to see a totally different team, by the way. Because one thing I'll give Cunha, every game I've seen, this guy's a pressing demon. Is he a hard worker? Is he always running after the ball? No. But when he needs to be pressing a guy, I've seen this in the Everton game. I saw it in today's game. When a turnover is necessary, when he needs to tackle, he is there and he's aggressive. And he is going for the ball. He will win back you the ball. And then offensively, you know what? He can pass. He looks for a pass. He looks for the switch. The switch to Mbeumo is always on. And more often than not, he nails it. And with speed, with pace, with intent, which is what we've been lacking for how long. And then with Mbeumo on the other hand, cold, calm, and tidy performance really from Mbeumo. Not to say it was the best debut ever. Not to say it's the worst either. It's somewhere right in between, but this was just a solid Mbeumo performance. This is nothing crazy. He still gave in good crosses. He still gave in a good enough, decent performance. Offensively, he's solid. He's obviously going to improve, being that this is only his second game so far. He didn't even play the full game last time, and neither did he today. So Arsenal is going to be his first full game. And we can see Mbeumo's rusty. It's not that he's bad. He's just rusty. Same thing with Cunha. But on the other hand, you see Cunha's a bit more free. Why? Because he just had pre-season. Don't expect Sesko to come back into the team directly either. And neither will Zirkzee, by the way. Because even Zirkzee's been injured. He has not played in pre-season. So against Arsenal, we might very much see a team where we have Fernandes, Cunha and Mbeumo as our front three. Now, do you want Fernandes up front? I personally do not want him there as a 10. But deeper in midfield is the one position you could use him. Against Arsenal, do you want to risk it? That's a big, big question, which, you know what, when it comes to the preview, we're going to discuss that a bit more. But coming back to today's game, have there been signs that Amorim has coached this team? Yes. I will give him this much. Even if I'm not a fan of Amorim, I have to say this. Attacking play looks much more decent. Our transition from defense into attack, even if we do bypass the midfield a lot, is much more intricate. Like, we have an intention of what we're trying to do, and the ball keeps on bopping from one player to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. There were 2 or 3 sequences in this game where it was meant to be a team goal, a brilliant team goal. The chance that Cunha missed from inside the 18-yard box, that was one of the best team build-ups I've seen under Amorim for sure. And I can tell this is by coaching. But at the same time, while he's coaching all this, the midfield gaps are still so evident. If you are the elite coach that you say you are, over time, you will be able to plug those gaps and not let those midfield gaps show as much. Because what did we always complain about under Ten Hag? We had that one midfielder playing essentially like a 3-1-6. And we don't want to go back to that because we know in the Premier League, if you leave your midfield wide open, you're going to get screwed. And Amorim needs to solve that problem as soon as possible, because what we want is United to win. And from what we see, the one big glaring weakness is that midfield. Now, having said all this, I feel that in each position, if you give Amorim the perfect players, he's not going to fail. But it's not too hard, is it? Because his system is very much reliant on a player and not an AB player or not an ABC player. Because if there's any variation in that player and it's not exactly the style he wants, is going to struggle. But you give him exactly what he needs, and he might as well work. Because this is why I feel if you do give him Baliba, it's going to work. You give him Donnarumma as a keeper, and suddenly we're having a totally different conversation. We're not having a top 5 discussion anymore, guys. Because remember, we only have 38 games to play. And okay, FA Cup and Carabao Cup, whatever. But we only have 38 games to play. So we have almost 3.8 days on average free. And with this 3.8 days free, we get recovery and we also get patterns of play, things that we want to really work on. So what do you guys think? Comment down below what you thought about this Fiorentina game. What does this give you a perspective about what United are going to do, what Amorim is going to do, and what really is our future? Comment that all down below, and I'll see you on the next one.